Hey guys, just Booster here and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today, I think the fourth or maybe the third, no, I think it's the fourth installment of the remote duel extravaganza for the Benelux was held, and where I actually went 0-2 drop at the giant card yesterday, playing my very skillful True Draco strategy. Today I somehow managed to turn it around and go undefeated, playing not True Draco but a familiar deck from the same time period as well actually, which is Pure Zodiac. Before I get into the video, quick rundown of what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you why I decided to play this deck. I'm gonna show you guys the deck list, and then at the end of the video I'm gonna be showing you guys, or rather telling you guys, my matchups, and then maybe some shoutouts for those. But yeah, 50 participants today, which is I think a little bit less than before. But still, you know, for a remote duel event, pretty decent. Why didn't I play Altergeist or Phantom Knight? I really haven't had that much time to test, and then when I did get some time to test, you know, it's actually post Lightning Overdrive, which I think is the name of the new set, and some other decks really got some huge boosts, and where I really felt like Phantom Knight was a good combo deck. Before, like not the best, but definitely it could compete with the meta. I really feel like the current combo decks just outperform it, yeah, well, pretty easily. Lancia is very popular because of the Tri-Brigade deck, and the Drytron matchup's even harder now than it was before. So yeah, Phantom Knight really wasn't working for me, and then Altergeist, it's a little bit the same, right? I thought Altergeist was quite good, but now the other decks in the front, which were already good, got boosted with new support cards, and yeah, just are outperforming Altergeist. And I don't really own any new cards, so I really had to look into a deck I already owned, and I actually owned every single card of the Zodiac deck for one reason or another. Like, I owned the Zodiac Decor because I played it back in 2017, and for those of you who don't know, I mean, which pretty much everyone I think, back in 2017 I actually got top 8 at Nationals and top 16 at Euros playing Zodiac, so I am familiar playing Zodiac, just not like it is now. This was the first event I played with the 2021 Zodiac. I didn't even play like locals with this or anything. I just kind of went with it because I reasoned the deck is actually very good because the engine is very small but very impactful, which I will talk about when showing you the cards. And you can play a lot of tech cards to combat the format, which I think is very nice. And made it a good option for me to play today. I really did not expect to win. I didn't even expect to top, but I eventually I won the event, which is nice. So yeah, enough rambling. Let's dive into the deck profile. Alright guys, let's hop into the actual deck profile. Starting out with the monsters, or I should say the zoo lineup. We have the one Red Pier, triple Ram, triple Turo Blade, which fun fact is my favorite Zodiac, and triple Whiptail. Now I should definitely add that I 100% would play Body Blast, because if you have Body Blast in the deck, Red Pier sort of becomes like a pseudo Broad Bull, which if you don't know is a banned Zodiac Exceed, which allows you to detach material to add Beast Warrior to your hand. So what you would do before is like going to Broad Bull to add your follow-up Zoo to the hand, like way back 4 years ago. But with Bunny Blast you can actually go normal summon Red Pier, send Bunny Blast to the graveyard, and Bunny Blast says if she is destroyed you can add back a Zodiac card from the graveyard to your hands. And then you can revive Bunny Blast with Check-9, then go into Trident, and with Trident pop the Bunny Blast, and then Bunny Blast add back Red Pier to your hand, so you have a guaranteed follow-up for the next turn, which is obviously very nice. However, yesterday I spent like literally 2 hours finding all the cards for this deck, and for the life of me I just couldn't find a Bunny Blast. Like, I'm sure I have one, but I just couldn't find it. But it definitely should be in the list, so right now I'm playing 10 Zodiac names, but it definitely should be 11 including the Bunny Blast. In the end I decided to add a Call by the Grave instead of the Bunny Blast, which was fine of course, but I really would have liked to have the Bunny Blast in deck. And then to finish off the engine I am also playing triple Tanky of course, which is just a rota for every Zodiac you might need. What is interesting is that the best normal summons turn 0, or like your first turn for this deck when you're going first, are either Ram or Red Pier. wrap your place into a hand traps a little bit, but it does guarantee you the follow-up with the Bunny Blast, which is why I think it is the best one. However, since I did not have access to Bunny Blast, Ram Ram was probably the best normal summon, just because this is a going first list, and when I go first I just go like Zodiac, Tiger Mortar. You'll see why I picked Tiger Mortar specifically in a minute, and then just go into Trident, and if you do that with Ram Ram, it is sort of protected from infinite impermanence, which is why I think this is the best one. And then of course rounding out the entire Zodiac engine with Barrage. This card is just you know, really good. It's basically only extender in the deck. And then this is obviously not an actual Zodiac card, but I definitely do think that Monster Reborn is basically an engine card for Pure Zoo specifically, just because it is one of the 2 extenders in the deck. You could even play something like Shuffle Reborn, however for this event I opted not to. But yeah, you really want to see these cards when going second specifically, because you just have one summon for the entire turn, and that summon is super impactful. Like, these cards are so strong because just any Zodiac on its own is basically 3 interruptions, and not just any interruptions, but you know, 3 sends from Zeus, where you just sent the entire field to the graveyard, which is absolutely insane. You know, Zeus is basically the reason why this deck is playable again. Yeah, that's it for the engine part of the deck. Like I said, I definitely would play Bunny Blast if I could find it, but I didn't. So yeah, then moving on to the not engine part, I'm playing Triple Desires. This is one of the rare few decks where you can actually in the game just activate Desires twice, and it doesn't even matter. Like, as long as you have just Zodiac names in your deck or access to Zodiac names, it's literally irrelevant what you banish, because all the other cards in the deck are just basically format dependent or anti-meta cards, hand traps, traps, extenders in some cases if you know, Reborn or Barrage. So that's really good. I'm really not a fan of Desires. I really don't enjoy playing it in most deck sets. Even when a lot of people do like Desires in those decks, I'm not a huge fan of it. But I mean, in this deck it's just amazing. So definitely think 3 is absolutely fine in this deck. And then the last card, like I said, is Call by the Grave. Just generically a good card with stuff like Dino, Drytron being quite popular. This is a pretty good disruptive card, and then it also helps your extenders push through, specifically Barrage, when your opponent has Ash. This actually won me one of the matches, to be honest, because I let my opponent go first, and then I think I Lightning Stormed always stuff. And then when they Ash my Barrage, which I needed to push through the less disrupt, I had this, which was very nice. So I might even keep playing this and then find another card to cut for the Bunny Blast. But yeah, this was supposed to be Bunny Blast, but Call by the Grave actually kind of nice. Then moving on to the hand traps, we have Ash, which is just, I mean, the most generic and the good hand trap in the game. It basically always trades 1 for 1, sometimes even 2 for 1, which is great, depending on what you hit with it. Yeah, then I'm playing Infinite Impermanence, Effect Negation, like this, actually randomly kind of good again. There was like a really long time where Impermanence didn't really have a chance to shine, but I really feel like in the current form it is quite strong. What I do specifically like about this card is when you're going second, you draw this as a 6th card, you can just like slam it down to negate like your opponent's Trident or IP or whatever, which is definitely very nice. It also can be hit by Call by the Grave, which is cool. Then I decide to main deck triple, draw Unlock Birds. I was kind of scared of Drytron, actually, because I know both Tetsim and Surfer White Joe were probably playing it, and I also knew some people would probably be playing like Dino, and against the Shadow Dogmatica Invoke, this card's also absolutely insane. And Zodiac just has so much space to play hand traps, or non-engine cards I should say, that I really felt like it was probably fine to play this. Now we're coming to a little bit of the odd part about the hand trap lineup. I'm playing double Nibiru. And the thing is, I was actually playing triple Nibiru, but literally at the last moment I swapped it out for this Effect Failure. And then, so the original hand trap lineup was actually triple Ash, triple Impermanence, triple Joel, triple Nibiru, and then 1 DD Crow. I just had 1 flex spot for like a hand trap. And I figured DD Crow would actually be quite good. It's just nice against Dino, against Drytron, it can definitely be very strong. It has its uses, and I don't know, just playing one random DD Crow. I've done it before. Like when I played BA, I also always played like one random DD Crow back in 2018. But yeah, that was the lineup, but then I decided to swap out the Nibiru, put it to the side, and main deck one Veiler, and why that is I'm gonna be showing you when we get to the extra deck. But yeah, so I am playing 13 hand traps, which is definitely a pretty solid number. That's also one of the reasons why I really like this deck. It just allows you to go second really well, because you can play so many hand traps and don't really sacrifice consistency. And then for actual traps, I am playing triple Sunstrike. This card is just absolutely insane. Then I'm main decking Judgment. This is mostly because Shadow Dogmatica is like really popular. Shadow Dogmatica invoked, also in the Netherlands, but also in general. And that's actually like the hardest matchup, and you really need cards like this to stop cards like Shadow Fusion from just absolutely destroying you. And just going first, this card is just insane, right? And then the last two cards are actually Imperial Order, which like the spells you play in this deck are actually quite important. But if you just manage to set up Giant first turn, especially if you can do it with the Bully Blast, which I couldn't do because I literally just didn't have the card, which was a little bit of a letdown. But yeah, if you can just set up Trident and then have a Zodiac in hand for next turn, and then some traps and hand traps, this stops like most of the extenders in the game for the combo decks right now, which I really think is insane. And then the last trap card is actually Macro Cosmos, also just insane against Shadow. And I'm not gonna lie, I opened this twice going first game 1 today, and it literally just won the game by itself. Both my opponents actually just literally scooped to it. The first opponent was playing Shadow, and he just scooped to it when I flipped this open. And then my Dino Scrap opponent also just scooped to this. I actually opened Trident, Order, and Cosmos, so that was that was quite strong, obviously. Yeah, 40 cards clean, as it should be, because you really want to see that Zodiac monster, right? That super impactful monster. Moving on to the extra deck, I am playing double Borbo. I mean, this card is nice, right? It just attacks directly, and then you can go into Zeus, and then if you go into Zeus, you can win the game. Then double Chakanine. I'm actually playing triple Tiger Mortar. The reason for this is I also didn't have some of the extra deck cards, and I figured this would actually be the best Zodiac to play a third copy of, just because making itself bigger is quite important sometimes when you're really grinding. And this deck, it grinds a lot. Like, either you go poke with a Zoo and blow up the entire field, and then they can just never come back because Zeus is that oppressive, or you can go into like an actual grind game when you're really trying to play around hand traps and traps, which I really like. I do enjoy that about Yu-Gi-Oh! And this deck really allows you to do that. So yeah, I decided to play the third Tiger Mortar, and it actually came up. It's also nice, like if they strike it for some reason, then you still have 2 left to basically, when you revive Trident with Chakanine, to attach with the third Tiger Mortar, which definitely comes up when you're grinding. And then just the one Hammer Kong, this is just in the deck, so you can go for the 6 material Zeus, which is insane, obviously. Then Trident. Going first, you always just go for this, for the Raigeki Break. I also call this deck like the Raigeki Break deck. And then the card that made this deck good again, Zeus. I'm just playing 2 of this. It's also, I only own 2. Maybe if I own 3, I even would have played 3, because this card is just so good. Even though you do usually, when you go into the second Zeus, you don't have that much resource in the extra deck anymore, so 3 might be a little bit overkill. But yeah, this card is just makes every Zodiac 3 disrupts, or maybe, yeah, 3 I guess, which is absolutely insane. Like, if you can break your opponent's field or like blow them out and then just go into Zeus. Like, if you go Dark Ruler No More, Zoo, poke, go into this with like a bunch of materials, blow up the entire field, and then you still have 2 cents of the entire field left to use as disruptions. It's just absolutely insane. And if you have like, it does contradict a little bit with these cards, but those cards are so high impact that oftentimes that won't really matter. And then with the other traps, you just activate the other traps first, obviously, before you use the Zeus effect. So yeah, nice. Then the one Vespanado, this card is nice. It like semi-floats. It can make one of your Zeus, like not your Zeus, but like one of your Beast Warrior guys, just randomly 2-5 attack, which does come up when you're going for game. It also does piercing damage, so yeah, this card is nice. And then the surprising part about my extra is actually this Hulky Fireback Celine Access Code package. I didn't have the, I don't know what it's called, like the link tree that you make with 3 exceeds. It looks like a machine. It is a machine type as well. I just can't remember the name right now. Which is definitely a very good card, but I didn't have access to it, and neither did I have access to the Earth Charmer. So I decided to, because I'm playing, you know, some tuners as hand traps. I figured like sometimes I could just normal summon Ash, go into this, bring out the Veiler, go into Celine, and then go into Access Code, which it actually happened once today, which was pretty funny. I found in testing that really, you didn't go into the links that often anyway, even when I did have access to them while testing on Dueling Book. So I figured this was fine, and that's the reason why I decided to main deck the one Veiler, just so I could do that that little combo. But yeah, this definitely could be like some other cards, but I did quite like it today. So yeah, 15 extra cards, then the side deck. The second DD Crow, the third Nibiru. I was honestly debating on playing Psycho Reader, but I just figured this was a little bit more generic, and in the Netherlands, you know, people play like Paleozoic and Orcus and whatever, so yeah, DD Crow nice, the third Nibiru. This card's actually really nice against Strike Brigade, which is why I played it, and it definitely did come up. Then this card's probably overperformed today, Phantasme. It just helps you draw into your good cards like Dark Ruler or like your hand traps, DD Crow, Nibiru. And then it's also just quite big. So I mostly played this for like a Dragon Link, where I figured I could go into this, reshape my hands, and then bait out the, what's it called, the Heraldic Seal with this, and then try to play after that. But yeah, this card was definitely very, very nice. It's been a while since I played this and since this card was good, but I really think it performed super well today. Then, like I said, Dark Ruler, this card is just so good in Zoo, because you can just, if they do their like entire insane combo, you can just activate Dark Ruler, attack with the Zoo, and just out the entire board just like that, which is crazy. Yeah, usually I'm not a fan of playing this in like control decks like Altergeist, for example. But I mean, this deck just, you know, Zeus goes brrr, and then everything dies. Then I'm playing Lightning Storm, just as another blowout. Honestly, like against some combo decks, it's also just good to side this in, because you can blow up their Link monsters and stuff. But it's mostly against back row. I'm also playing Harp's Feather Duster and Red Reboot. This is the Netherlands, right? And to be honest, I would even play this if it wasn't the Netherlands, because these cards are just really, really good. Like Red Reboot, I'm not sure, but like this for sure. And then the last card in my side deck is actually double Soul Drain. So I just wanted another Floodgate against Dino, Orcus, Drytron, and even against the Tri Brigade is actually quite good, because it negates like other float effects, so I also sided in against this. And again, just like the other Floodgates, just basically flipping this open won me too many games, to be honest. Like I flipped this against Orcus while he had like a super loaded grave, and like his only out was basically like he had to draw an out to this, or he just couldn't play, and he didn't, so I won the game. And then against Dino, he went like Conductor Effect. I chained this. He did blow up a baby, but then it just didn't trigger, and then you know, I just won the game. So yeah, this card was super nice. Would maybe even play 3 of this. Yeah, I mean the deck performed really well. The side deck might look a little random, but honestly it did its job. So yeah guys, that's it. That was the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed that. To give a quick rundown of the matchups I played. In the first round I played against Invoke Shadow, which I think is probably the hardest matchup for this deck, but I was kind of lucky because in the first game I opened Macrocosmos and I won the die roll, so that was nice. And then in game 2, I don't know, my opponent just really didn't get going. I opened Draw as well to slow him down, and eventually I managed to take the game with the Hulky Fireback play actually. Then in the second round, I either played against Kim, who's a very good player with like multiple Premier Event stops as well with Orcus, or I played against pure Tri Brigade. I'm not 100% sure, like maybe the third round was Orcus or the third round was Tri Brigade. And then the other way around as well. I think against Tri Brigade I won 2-0 because he just couldn't break my field, Dryden traps. going second, and then in game 2 he just sent a bunch of back row pass, and I just lightning stormed him and then summoned the zoo, which is game. Just summoning the zoo and attacking his game. And then against Orcus I really had a lot of fun. Shout out to you, Kim. That was actually just a really long back and forth game, and I actually ended up winning in time because he had to flip a judgment on I think my zoo summon, and then I won because of that, so that was a little bit disappointing. Then in the 4th round I played against Rajesh, which is like a good friend of mine. We were in a team like together a while ago, and he was playing Tribegate Zoo. Actually, that was 2-1. Then in the 5th round I played against Nick, another friend of mine who was playing Scrap Dino. And in the last round I played against, so the finals I played against Tribegate Zoo, again piloted by Raphael Nevin. His deck profile will be up on my channel probably tomorrow. And if you want to check out the other top 8 profiles, they are actually up on Tetsim's profile, which I will be linking down below. Shout out to him, he also got I think 4th place, playing Drytron once again, so pretty solid Tetsim. But yeah, that's it guys. If you did make it all the way to the end of the video and did enjoy the deck list, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing, and if you do, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!